Russia has suspended the only remaining major nuclear treaty with the U.S. It probably didn't really exist anymore, but it's like now it's just like there's no more agreements.
Yeah.
There's nothing on paper anymore that's like, no, we're not gonna do nuclear stuff.
Because at least with the Cold War, there was that stability of the idea that nobody was going to throw a nuke. Nobody was going to drop a bomb like that. You could do all this other little bullshit, all these little, whatever you want to call them, these little tactical advancements and things that they would do to try and push either's ideology, whether Western or the Soviets. But there was never a real. I think they would try and play like there was a real danger of it. Obviously, with the Cuban Missile Crisis and that stage sort of thing. I mean, there was these ideas that it might happen, but it never did. It was always just sort of it was kind of like the equivalent of the U.S.-China right now. Like it was always like that. Like it was like there was this rivalry, this battle for economic dominance, if you will, and like world influence dominance, but never a real hot war.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're getting to a point that we have a hot war now.
Yeah.
I think we're getting to a point where it's just like, who does it first?
Well, I don't think anybody thought in 1939 that Germany was going to do what they did.
No.
Like they thought they were going to advance. They were going to do some things. They were going to take back some of the territories that they lost from the Treaty of Versailles and all that. And they would take back that stuff. And okay. And I think everybody expected them to do it. They just thought, I think they probably thought, wow, we got away with 20 years of this. That now that they're just going to do that kind of thing. But then they just kept advancing and kept moving, and I think it caught everyone off guard. It's the same as this. Like this is like a small
Except there
fire.
isn't a continuous advance. Right. So it's been a year and it hasn't really escalated. It's not like Russia annexed all of Ukraine and is posturing at Poland, which makes it more interesting that the US is doing what it's doing, because now it's like it's almost like they're poking it. Like they're literally they're poking the bear, literally. Like they're trying to be like, come on. Let's get something going here.
Yeah, it's almost as if they
like. It almost makes you wonder if like Putin is the reasonable one in this situation, sitting back, being like, they fucking really want to escalate to something really serious, and like, this is just a small little thing, a little conflict that we have. Like, they have their reasons for wanting to go into Ukraine that I'm sure probably makes sense. Like if you sat down with Putin, like you could probably be like, oh, okay, I see what you're coming from. This idea that it's like this evil thing for that's stupid. That's dumb.
That's always stupid.
No one acts like that. No one's like a TV fucking villain.
Right.
Like,
when you don't want to see and understand the perspective of your enemy, you're obtuse or you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're like it's either deliberate or you're just dumb.
Yeah, so it's like what's happening here? Like ultimately, so where does this go? Does this turn into a big? Where does China step in? Does China maybe take advantage of the U.S. being a little bit focused on Ukraine and invade Taiwan all of a sudden? And then what happens? Now the U.S. has to split their shit up, because now they have to go to Taiwan. I don't think economically the United States can afford to just leave Taiwan to succumb to China.
Right.
And then Russia can make more advances on Ukraine. Maybe even China has the ability to circle around and come into Ukraine to support Russia to push that way. So now you got two fronts, and now the U.S. is split, and the rest of the world, who else can really do much of anything? Like, sure, the entire Western world will come together, but like Germany literally doesn't have a military really at the moment. They have
India's
nothing.
Going to come out of nowhere. Nobody's even see it coming. India's just going to come out of nowhere. They're going to have this military. We had no idea, under the sand or something. It's
just under the
here
sand.
It is. And they're just going to show up.
Well, India will be on our side. They'll fight China.
Oh yeah, India and China have not gotten along forever.
There's been a lot of conflicts at the border there.
I have a feeling. I think this is just what I suspect. I suspect that that Putin's playing the long game. He's waiting for the next election cycle to see what happens, and he knows if a Republican gets in, it'll be a lot different of a situation.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot more of a negotiable situation.
Yeah.
The right Republican anyway. I mean, it depends on if you get some of these
I think you waited for Trump to be out.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely think he smelled
They were
weakness.
posturing about it beforehand, but he didn't do anything when Trump was in. I think that's because they reasonably thought that Trump's a little bit nutty.
Yeah.
He might do something if we do. So you know what? Let's hold off. Let's wait for a corpse.
Yes.
Once the U.S. is run by a corpse, then we can make our move.
Yeah. Once that puppet's in there and he has
no
idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what? We've talked about this before too on another podcast where we were talking about war games, where I think some of the highest level people in the world probably just play war games. You really never know if they're having these secret backwater discussions. Like leaders all over the world are saying, okay, well, let's play war for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to do X, Y, but we'll play war. And it's going to be good for us, bad for the people, but fuck them. We'll line our pockets and
fuck off.
And then we'll call it a day. Sorry says they will support
China. Says India is part of BRICS.
Yeah.
What is it's like?
BRICS is it's Brazil,
Russia, India, China.
What's the S stand for? Spain?
Spain? No.
No. Spain's one of the dead ones.
Sexyville?
Most likely.
Why am I blanking
Sweden,
on countries with S? No. Anyway, yeah, he says that they will support China as they are involved in support for usurping the petrodollar.
The pigs that's.
But I don't know if that's necessarily the case
Spain.
because there's a lot of conflict at the Indian border.
Africa.
Oh, that makes sense. There's a lot of conflict at the Indian border of China, like pushing in there and doing things in their territory, and like people have been killed in little skirmishes that have happened there. So I wonder if India might not necessarily be on China's side in a full-on war.
The problem with India is they're right in the middle of a hotbed in the world, right? They've got Pakistan, the side where they've never gotten along with Pakistan for forever, and they still don't. Then you've got all this, hotbed of weirdness in the Middle East that they're right neighboring on. You've got Afghanistan, like you've got all this, and then China, like they're right. Surrounded by all kinds of hostile type territory. That I think they've just got to kind of sit back and shut up, not say too much, and just build themselves up, get themselves up to speed because they're about 50 years behind.
Yeah.
So get themselves up to speed, and then they could be a big power in the world, right?
Yeah.
I could see a big shift in the next 50 years of China and India. I mean, China, I don't know because China may have exhausted themselves quickly, but like where you could see India and different countries that step to now and become some of the world dominating economies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough to say. I think this next election cycle will be massive